Hello again. I'm Ridcully, and welcome to Ridcully's book review. Today we're going to go over the book Citadel by John Ringo. It's fiction. I had one of my millions of fans tell me maybe I shouldn't be so analytical and attack the science of this series of books because they're not real science fiction, they're space opera. And that's fine. Space opera is, amazing. Love space opera. But if you're going to do space opera, don't put real numbers in that, detract for anybody that knows what the real numbers mean. Make something up or make something that doesn't really fit at all, like, Kessler run in 12 parsecs, something that can't really be argued. It's like, what are you talking about? Don't go Robert Jordan stupid and put something in like, how many merchlorians you have in your blood or something like that. There is a limit to just making stuff up. You got to be consistent. You got to be true to the world that you created. It's fine to create stuff, and if you're doing space opera or making stuff up even in science fiction, just don't try and tie it into science unless you have real science. And the part of this book at Citadel, two new characters are really introduced. Dana, she's the shuttle pilot that in Live Free or Die that made the entry into the bay and was able to stop inside of Troy while the door was closing. And the other one's Butch. He's a welder. And John Ringo does some really fun things with their characters and their personalities. But because the first part of the book repeats the entry into Troy, is introducing Dana, and comes back into that, I am going to take another second and I am going to attack the physics of that. He says that these shuttles, these myrmidons, have 400 gravities of acceleration. That's really saying gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared acceleration. In 1 second, our best, most powerful sports cars, our Ferraris, our Lamborghinis, they'll make it from 0 to 60 in like 5 or 6 seconds. 6 seconds. And that's, if you've ever been in a fast car, that's power, that's speed, that's awesome. These myrmidons at 400 gravities per second, that's basically saying 400 gravities of acceleration is really just 400 times 9.8, which would be, take the 2 zeros off, or so it's 4 times 9.8, and that would be the same as 40, 4 times 10 minus 4 times 0.2, so that would be 40 minus 0.8, so 39.2, and then put your 2 zeros or your 2 orders of magnitude back on, so that'd be 3,920 meters per second squared. So saying 400 gravities of acceleration is the same as saying 3,920 meters per second squared. To try and wrap your mind around that, and for any of us to wrap our mind around that means in 1 second, 1 Mississippi, you got into this myrmidon, and we'll say 4,000, 3,920. That's really close. I mean, that's, you get in this myrmidon, you hit the accelerator, and 1 Mississippi, you went 4 kilometers. I mean, that's hitting a brick wall in a Ferrari is not going that fast after 1 second. That's just insane. And she's turned around, she's spun into, and she's coming into the bay. And let's say, she's been, let's forget whatever speed velocity she had, it doesn't say. Just the turnaround, she shoots into the bay, and it implies that there's a few seconds. Let's say there's 5 seconds. So, the velocity would be your acceleration times time. So 4,000 times 5, 20,000 kilometers per second. You know, so at 5 seconds, if you get in that marathon and you just go as fast as you can for 5 seconds from 0, that would be your distance. We'll say 4,000 is your acceleration, and your time is 5. 5 squared, 25. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're doing distance, it's 1/2 of your acceleration. So it wouldn't be 4 kilometers. It would have been 2 kilometers. Still, that's insane. So it's 1/2 times your acceleration times time squared. So your acceleration is 4,000, 5 seconds, 25 by 1/2. So that's instead of 4,000, that's 2,000 times 25. So 50 kilometers, 5 seconds, going 50. She's going 50 kilometers in 5 seconds. Now in space, you've got to put the same amount of force in. Well, in anything, you got to put the same amount of force to stop as you do to go. In space, there's not rubber on the ground. It's whatever force or engines you have. You turn around and you send the vector in the other direction. You know, so that'd be basically. Well, it doesn't even do it justice. But imagine opening your garage door, hopping on a really powerful bullet bike, about a block away, gunning it as fast as you can, getting it just as, 50, 60, 70 miles an hour in that one block, entering into your garage, and as soon as you pass the door of the garage,
should have just said she was going really fast, at an amazing stop. That would have worked. Don't put numbers. But anyway, that's how it starts. It introduces the new characters. Butch, he's really cool. John Ringo, he introduces the mentality of, that they test Butch if he's going to break under pressure. The big thing is they don't want welders out there, and the welding's, he says a couple different lengths in his books he screws up. The one I believe he says was 6 meters. It has a 6 meter focal length for these cutting torches, is what they're laser welders, laser cutters. And I've driven trucks. I've worked briefly in a coal mine. I've worked construction. And there is the balance there, and he talks about the practical jokes and the kind of vicious reality that exists in some of these, more dirty, hands-on jobs in life. Seems to some of it attracts it, and some of the coal mining, it kind of turns into a cycle. If you don't fit in a lot of places, really, if you don't fit in, everybody turns against you and just makes your life miserable. And even if you don't fit in, you're going to be tested. And he brings that out in the welding with Butch. And I thought about it. Part of me wanted to say, no, that's silly, but then I got thinking about it. No, you're the people that you're gonna get in there are going to be the people that are gritty, have a little bit of insanity, a little bit of ruthlessness, and so it goes through the testing on Butch, and Butch passes the testing and he gets mad, and he should get mad. He's tested in situations where, they're talking about naked pictures of his little sisters, and even these gritty people are going to be mad. Butch gets mad. He's a believable. He's a cool character. I really liked that. Dana, the pilot, even though she makes a impossible flight, it is cool. It's the one comment I got was it is space opera, so don't take it too literally on science fiction, and you'll be okay. Troy is awesome. It also introduces from the point of view of the Rangora, because this book is really the Horvath were kind of like the introductory boss in your game, and you beat them, so now you're on to the major bosses, on to the Rangora, and it introduces Lakeshazad. I can't remember their names, but it introduces some of the Rangora hierarchy, and they get attacked. The Rangora come now, and Troy is set up completely different. and they've set it up so, I mean, they just wipe out the task force that's sent. And this Rangora intelligence group had warned the Rangora, no, Troy, the mining lasers don't, they're more powerful than you're thinking. And he goes into the politics of the Rangora Empire, and it's easy to believe the stupidity of, you know, there's somebody in charge that really shouldn't be in charge. They ignore your advice. They do it anyway. You know, lo and behold, you were right. You know, the interplay that they get captured, some of the leaders, and there was a couple of parts that I did laugh out loud. Had a couple other Rangora. I don't know if they were addled from the fight or if they were just like, you know, politicians' sons that got put into high positions, and their actions and their words. I can't remember what the words were, but I do remember I laughed really hard. Good interplay, you know, believable characters, even for the aliens, because he establishes what their personality should be, and then he sticks with it really well. They get to the final battle when Troy, you know, they come after Troy with the more powerful fleet, and I'm trying. There's 3 books in the series, and I'm trying not to jump in. I can't remember where the last one ended, but I'm pretty sure this one ends with the second Rangora attack. And at this point, because of the first Rangora attack, they had 90,000 prisoners. Later on, he says 10,000 prisoners, I think, in the 3rd book. So another time that Ringo screwed up. But space opera, I guess, 80,000 prisoners died of starvation or in pit fights. I don't know. They ate each other. You make whatever you want up. It doesn't get explained. It's just an error. But he comes out. And this other Rangora task force comes through, and Troy, they've got the Orion drive, where they're using 25 megaton nuclear devices to accelerate Troy around, a great big old spring plate system with nuclear charges going off on it. Once again, I guess I got to stop with, you know, expecting true science fiction. You know, if they've got 25 megaton missiles or bombs being put on the plate, where are they coming from? Why aren't they being used as weapons? Are they weapons? Doesn't really explain it. That's probably the best way to do it. They're just there. But Troy comes and he goes after the task force, and then, you know, everything that comes through the gate gets Troy just cleans it up. And the president, it's kind of a cool scene. The president's asking her, "Are you able to fight?" And Troy's like, "Yeah, we're still able to fight." And she says, "Go through the gate and clean up everything on the other side." And they do, and they go and they take all of the forces that were on the other side and are just smashing them, and the gate's open, they're trying to get away, and they're just cutting them into little tiny pieces, so everything that goes back to the home planet, you know, they're letting them know really well, you know, you come through, we're gonna cut you in little pieces. And they grab they had some mobile repair docks, and, you know, they go to capture them. And one thing that he had put into this book, which was kind of funny, it worked, is he had a baton, basically for the purposes of this book, you know, Taliban fighters. You know, that since the world has been attacked, they are now Taliban Marines, and they're part of the assault on this station. And at the end, when they're trying to get their Angora to surrender, you know, one of the biggest problems is getting the Baton Marines, the human Baton Marines, to stop fighting so that they can do the surrender. That was kind of a funny part. Great book, great story, great visuals. It messes up on the math, messes up on the physics. Almost all of them do. Don't let it bother you. Don't look into it, and you'll be happy. Military science fiction. I would definitely recommend this book, Citadel. to the next one, the last one, which is one of my least favorite books, in a little bit. Thanks, you guys have a good night.